Good evening and welcome to the nightly news on Wjay All TV and Sports Channel. This is episode 6 for this Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. And as always, I'm your host, Jason DeCanio, welcoming you to another edition. We're ready to go for another hour and a half of some fantastic, informative articles, the headlines, and a whole bunch of other things which pertain to you, the viewer, and we hope that you will get a lot out of this show tonight, as we do every show. I also have some statistics to share with you later on in the program. I'll share those with you in just a minute. First off, with our three topics of discussion today, the first one is if you see these fees on your phone bill, you're being overcharged. Yeah, if you ever stop to think about your phone bill and why all of those fees, you might want to reconsider who you do business with. So this article pertains to almost everybody who owns a cell phone and pretty much is paying for kind of those outrageous fees that they just tack on for, shits and giggles, basically. And here's one that's going to strike the trolls' hearts just a little bit more. But I saw this article yesterday and I just had to basically get it ready to go because we were going to talk about this. Here are the 8 signs you're a conversational narcissist. Oh, yeah. I think this one's going to hit these trolls even harder than before. And what is doxing? And how does it set you up to be hacked? Yes, a troll just loves to dox your personal information. Whether it be a hacker, a scammer, the trolls that we're dealing with here on the program, as always, or in the cyber world, as they say, you might want to take some notes down on this one because doxing is illegal and it should be punishable by the extent of the law. It should be criminal, actually, and they don't take it seriously enough. Plus, also today, what is the holiday? The motivation of the day, plus the headlines and other important information for you. And of course, don't forget, Versus, of course, premieres every Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. here on StreamYard. You can definitely check us out tonight at 9 o'clock. We have a fantastic episode 3 ready to go for you. We put 2 things up to contrast. So tune in to watch that particular show tonight and then get your voting buttons on because we'll post a poll at the end of the show where you can vote on which one of the 2 you like better. And don't forget tomorrow night, Wipe Those Tears, episode 31, the second show of the second season, comes back with our group and, of course, our new member, Andrew Hocking, who did a fantastic job on his first show. We're going to see how he does on his second show tomorrow night at 9 p.m. You can join in. But please, I tell you that I'll have some important information to attain to here in just a minute. So with that, I want to go ahead and put the ticker back on. Tell you, of course, today is episode 6. Oh, see what happens? I didn't change the number. I changed the date, but I didn't change the number to the, yes, there we go. All right. Now we can put it up there. There we go. Episode 6 for you. Yeah, we're here Monday through Thursday, and Fridays will be our off day for me. I'll be able to relax and take time to do other things. In fact, I was busy today on it, but I'll give you that in just a little bit. All right, let's go ahead to the headlines and other important information, of course, starting with, of course, the NPR headlines for today, Tuesday, September 17th. 2024. Starting off with a year after the strike, is the UAW still winning? Well, a year ago at this time, members of the United Auto Workers Union were feeling powerful and optimistic. The group's new president, Shawn Fain, had called a historic strike. For the first time, the union walked out on all 3 big automakers. Former officer testifies he beat a helpless Tyre Nichols, then lied about it. Emmett Martin III testified that he punched a 29-year-old black man at least 5 times while 2 Memphis police colleagues held his arms and said, "Hit him." Wow. A NASA probe is about to launch to an icy moon that could have life. A NASA mission launching in October will send cameras and other scientific equipment to see, among other things, whether Jupiter's moon Europa could sustain life. Senate Republicans block IVF bill as Democrats elevate issue ahead of November election. Senate Republicans blocked the bill to ensure federal protections for access to in vitro fertilization treatments, calling it a show vote by Democrats. Republican leaders and former President Trump, the GOP nominee for president, say they back IVF, but not the legislation proposed by the Democrats. Harris calls Trump's remarks about Haitian immigrants in Springfield a crying shame. Harris said Trump's remarks about immigrants eating pets were lies rooted in racial tropes, and in some of her most forceful language yet about the debunked claim, insisted it has to stop. I have a message for you, VP, so don't worry about it. We'll you know. And in Hezbollah, pagers explode across Lebanon, causing nearly 3,000 casualties. Yes, Lebanese officials say Israel is to blame for the explosions. Hezbollah members had turned to pagers, believing they were more secure than phones. Israel has declined to comment. But here's the thing. They're under war. You in Lebanon attacked from the north to Israel, and you have continued to throw your rockets into Israel. Don't you think for 1 second that lives were taken already? Haven't you learned that when war, things are going to happen? This is basically taking out the crud of the situation. Yes, innocent people are going to be hurt or even killed, but this is what happens when you go to war, folks. Israel can defend itself. Israel can do whatever it needs to do to send a message to its enemies and say, we're not going to put up with your crap. This is a warning. Why don't you finally take defeat for once in your sorry-ass lives, Lebanon? Okay? It's not the Lebanese people I'm upset with. It's the Lebanese government who thinks they can call the shots on everything. Too bad. The U.S. has had a long history of political violence, but experts see a new trend. The apparent second assassination attempt of Donald Trump is stirring concern about growing political violence in the U.S. Duh. But I have something to say about that, too. Microsoft says Russia's election interference efforts have pivoted to Harrison Waltz. The company identified a number of recent Russian-linked campaigns that have shifted focus to Harris, relying on videos to spread conspiracy theories and falsehoods about the Democratic nominee. Disney trips meant for homeless New York City students went to school employees' families. Disney trips that were meant for homeless students in New York City public schools were used by school employees' families instead, according to a report released by the district earlier this month. Florida wants to take the lead on Ryan Routh's prosecution in Trump golf incident. Florida is conducting its own investigation into the apparent assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Republican Governor Ron DeSantis says the state's case should take precedence. Vets helping Ukraine worry Trump assassination attempt suspect will hurt their cause. U.S. military veterans who support Ukraine worry about political blowback since the suspect in the apparent assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump has connections to their movement. Conservative editor-in-chief appears to use racial slur to refer to Haitian migrants. Rich Lowry of the prominent conservative magazine National Review appeared to use the N-word to refer to Haitian migrants during an appearance on the Megyn Kelly show. Hezbollah accuses Israel of thousands hurt in unusual pager blasts. You know about that. Some Israelis are leaving the country due to the war in Gaza, and so they should, because war, no matter where it is, unfortunately, just doesn't, and if you have to leave because of that, more respect for you. Uncertainty about the future, safety fears, and concerns over the government's handling of the war in Gaza are leading some Jewish Israelis to leave their country and start new lives elsewhere. Abortion providers and patients are on the move as state laws keep shifting. Clinics in states where most abortions are legal, such as Kansas and Illinois, are reporting an influx of inquiries from patients hundreds of miles away and are expanding in response. Complex political past of suspect in Trump's apparent second assassination attempt. Ryan Routh, the suspect in the Trump apparent assassination attempt, has a colored digital footprint. The former Trump supporter showed a strong interest in Ukraine and the battle of Fox News. This preventative drug could be a game changer in ending the HIV epidemic. In newly released data, lenacapavir given via a twice yearly injection has shown remarkable effectiveness at eliminating HIV transmission during sexual contact, but its cost could be an issue. Instagram makes all teen accounts private in a highly scrutinized push for child safety. The social media app unveiled a new product for young users of the app that is intended to make the service safer for teenagers. The tools include making all teen accounts private and allowing parents to supervise activity. AI met fruit fly, and a better brain model emerged. A virtual version of a fruit fly's visual system could help scientists understand how brain network processes information. Well, the model could also lead to more efficient AI systems. And these houses survived one of the country's worst wildfires. And here's how. The wildfire in Lahaina, Maui, spread through extreme winds and intense heat. Still, a handful of houses were untouched thanks to the owners preparing the buildings and yards. So many music festivals have been canceled this year. What's going on? Well, the music festivals are canceling their events like maybe never before. Call it the music festival recession. And finally, a man accused of drugging wife so dozens of men could rape her testifies in French court. A man accused of drugging his then wife and inviting dozens of men to rape her over nearly a decade is testifying in court on Tuesday in southern France in a case that has shocked the country. Oh my gosh. And there you have it, folks. The headlines for today, September 17th, on this Tuesday evening. All right, now to the important information. First of all, let me say this much. The reason why we're only going to be on 4 days a week is because I need a day off. Day off, not just from this show and the program, but other things that I have to do to maintain the structure and systems of the channels. Plus, there's a lot on my plate during the week, and I'd like to have one day off of the 7, so I chose the Friday. So if you don't see me on Friday for any reason whatsoever, for any shows, that is the reason. I've taken that day off to just do my work on DoorDash and Uber Eats, and then come home and relax on a Friday evening. And whether or not, I do something, it's going to be on my time. And I'll see you then, of course, on Saturday and Sunday for the rest of the weekend. Okay? So that is the reason why I chose that Friday to, unfortunately, well, not unfortunately, but fortunately, to relax and take that day off. Now, yesterday's game show recordings went fantastic. Great lineup of people coming into the Discord channel. Unfortunately, every one of the games was a loss in the bonus round. But we did crown some new champions, and some great things have come down over the course of that, over those 3 recordings. Like I said, if you'd like to be a contestant on any of the shows, join us in the Discord chat at MVG Productions, and you can partake in 3 of the games that I host from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. in, I think, Studio One chat. So if you would like to test your skills and put your knowledge up against some pretty good other people and join us for 3 hours, we'd love to have you. Of course, if you disobey the rules at any time, the owner of the channel can have you banned and blocked. So please be on your best behavior when you come in and just be yourself. That's more respectable in a way. Don't try to do something you're not or be something you're not, because people could tell when you're not who you really are. Okay. And as for the stuff that's going on with the attempted assassination of Donald Trump, I have some things to say about that, as if I didn't already have anything to say about it yesterday. But I will, because like I said yesterday before we ended and went to break, things are going to get tougher. I gave this information to you last week on the program that as we get closer to the election, I'm going to bend harder and I'm going to break backs. Why? Because you need to know the real truth of what's going on. Stop looking at CNN, stop looking at ABC News, NBC, MSDNC, all those crap channels. I mean, even Fox, if you even want to put them in that lane. Go on YouTube and find the information you're trying to find, so that way there's no commercial interruption, nothing to distract you, or read the papers, God willing, if you can find something that calls it right down the middle, okay? Because how you get your information is how you're going to make your decision come November. Okay. And Miss Harris and former First Lady Hillary Clinton, You got a hell of a nerve saying that the attempted assassination the second time around was Donald Trump's fault. How dare you accuse that man of causing something of his own situation? Okay? You guys have been shooting your mouths off like narcissistic bitches all week on the campaign trail. Okay? You really think that what you're going to say will not have consequential effects? Yes, they will. You need to choose your words a hell of a lot better. And we know you have no sympathy for Donald Trump. We know you have no respect for the man who's trying to become the next president again and bring our country back to normalcy. No, you want chaos. You want violence. You want wars. You guys are the threat to democracy. Hillary Clinton, Vice President Harris, Joe Biden, who I will never call president. I don't care if he has that title behind him. Okay? And all you guys on the Democrat side and all you gals who think that President Trump is a piece of garbage, go screw yourself. You know? Because one day it could be someone in your inner circle who gets killed. And then what are you going to do? Say, oh, it was their own fault for them dying. No. No. You don't say that. Okay, whether you like Donald Trump or not, this man got attempted assassination twice. And not because of what he said. It's because what you said, Ms. Harris. It's what you said, Joe Biden. It's what all the idiots on the liberal networks said. I never watch your garbage shows anyways, ever. Because all you do is disgrace the former president, put him down, talk shit about him, and I'm calling you out on it. You want to censor me? Fine. Go right ahead. But you know what? There are plenty more of me around to go. Okay? The voices will continue to go on and expose you for it, scumbags. That's what you are, scumbags, narcissistic scumbags. You don't like the word narcissistic. You don't like to be called that, but you are because you act like it because you have no heart, no brain, no feeling, no respect. You gaslight people. You have all the symptoms that were diagnosed as of a narcissistic person. You have those symptoms. Why don't you just come out of the woodwork and admit it for once in your sorry ass life? Oh, I'm sorry. You don't say the word sorry. Sorry is not in your dictionary, I guess. You owe the American people an apology, VP Harris. You owe the American people an apology, Joe Biden. All you leftists, you all owe the American people an apology. For once in your asinine life, do the right thing. For once, accept defeat and take it. And walk away from the situation and stop trying to enact revenge on the situation, okay? Or for that matter, stop sticking your nose where it don't belong. Because only narcissistic people stick their nose in everybody else's business. If you didn't have anything to do with it, why the hell are you saying something about it? Okay? Now, for those who are investigating, like Ron DeSantis in the state of Florida, I commend you for it. Don't give this guy to the federal government to hold. You take the necessary steps to prosecute this guy to the full extent of the law, throw his ass in prison, and send a message to Ukraine and everybody else that we ain't friggin' around here. This is why Governor DeSantis won 20 points over his opponents some 2 to 3 years ago. Okay, the state of Florida ain't screwing around. You come to the state of Florida, you better follow the law because they will have your butt in the slammer even before you're tried for it. And if you don't think it's not fair, I have rights. No, when you commit a crime in the state of Florida, your rights are stripped. That's it. And the governor takes no crap from anybody. The sheriffs, they don't take crap from anyone in any county. This is a red state for a reason, folks. Okay, we have laws in this state that they use to protect us, and we should follow them. And for everyone coming from those blue states, California, New York, see, I'm from New York originally, but I am not a native Floridian. And see, that's what a lot of people don't understand about it is, well, how can you live in Florida and how can you say you're still a New Yorker? I'm a native New Yorker. There's a difference between a native and a resident. A native was born in his own state or her state. A resident is someone who resides in their current state. Look it up, intelligent dumbasses that some trolls think they, can try to trick me into saying. No, there's a difference between a native and a resident. If you lived in New York more than 6 months, but were not born, you're only a resident. Okay? I've been here 29 years. That does not make me a native Floridian. Never in my life. Okay? I'm still a native New Yorker and always will be. But I have every right to be down in this state as a resident because we came down fair and square from where we left. No one forced us to. We saw the conditions even 30-some years ago. The conditions were getting worse. And we got out when we did. Tough decision, but we did. And now we're enjoying what we have here, the fruits of our labor. And there are already people who are having issues and problems. Well, I can't believe he's not talking about Florida because he lives in Florida. No, I don't know anything about Florida. I would appreciate if some girl, some woman out there who respects my interests in the state to show me around the other areas of Florida, the north, the south, the west, parts of the east. Give me a tour. Maybe we'll go sightseeing or something. There's more to Florida, I believe, than just the theme parks. Okay? But if you have to have your theme parks because that's you, that's fine. I'm not going to say that, but they give your money to the woke. I mean, Disney's changing its whole outlook on things. Universal's changing its whole outlook on things. And who's to stop them? But if you give them money and you go to their parks, you are feeding their inner hate towards everybody else that don't agree with them. Yep. And I've done my time with Disney, visited them. I'm sick and tired of it, and I'm done with Universal. I have no interest in going to any theme park, not even Busch Gardens for that matter, because theme parks are just a waste of my time. I could do something else with my time. My time is too valuable for me, So at this point, that's the reason. And Governor DeSantis is doing a great job, in handling this situation more than the president and more than the vice president would ever want to take on for irresponsibility, God willing. Yeah, none of the cronies that are in this current administration right now, are even taking on any responsibility to put this guy away. Why is it? Why would you have more blood on your hands there? See, that's the issue I can't understand. Joe Biden, Kamala Harris, all of their cronies in their administration, all the way down to the very people who reported against Trump. All of you have blood on your hands because, number one, you can't tell the truth. You're too stupid to tell the truth, and you're too embarrassed to tell the truth. So you got to make up some cockamamie bullshit story to convince everybody that Donald Trump is his own worst enemy and that he's still the threat to democracy. You're the one that's threatening democracy there, imbeciles. Get it through your thick skull. You are the ones who should be fessing up for everything you've said over the course of the last couple of months, with the first attempt and the second attempt on the former president's life. Eric Trump Jr., Donald Trump's son, said it best. We will not tolerate the crap that you shoot out of your mouths. The rhetoric is going to stop, and it's going to stop, even on both sides. But you see, the left is still intensifying the situation because they want to have the last word on everything. No, it don't work like that. Back off. If you know those two words, then do it. But if you don't know what back off means, and I'll look it up for you, I can bring it up. Let's take a look at what back off means. For all those, idiots out there who really don't have any concept of what a definition really is. So I'm going to put this up on the screen right now. Here we go. Okay. It's a verb. It means draw back from action or confrontation. Yes. What is the meaning? Here we go. To move backwards away from someone, usually because you are frightened. I saw the knife and backed off. Okay. What does it mean when someone says they're going to back off? Well, you move away in order to avoid problems or a fight. But in this case, because a narcissist, which all you are, yeah, you can quote me on that. I don't care. But I'm calling you out as narcissists because you don't know how to back off. You don't know how to keep your nose out of business that don't pertain to you. And you like to shoot your mouth off when you know that it's not the truth. Okay? You know it, but you still continue to say it, even though there are consequences to your actions and your words, folks. Okay? And if you have to use violence in order to prove a point, then you are one sick puppy. You are one sick and crazy delusional puppy. Same thing with the trolls. You don't know how to back off. You don't know how to leave people alone. And you don't know how to keep your nose out of business that don't pertain to you. But all you like to do is stir up trouble. And I bet for all of this on X and all on Instagram, everybody's tweeting a bunch of crap out there with stuff, and they have no facts to back it up. No facts whatsoever. But that's unfortunately the freedom of speech. And yet there are some that abuse it to the point where there will be consequences. Sooner or later, the government will be coming after our free speech. And it will be the Democrats, the very people that you want in the White House, because you can't stand freedom. You don't want democracy. You want hate. You want violence. You want communism. You want socialism. Oh, no, we don't want. Well, you're getting it if you vote in Vice President Harris. You will get what's coming to you. You're going to get a swift kick in the ass from the very people you voted in. And it started 4 years ago when Joe Biden put his hand on that Bible, that imbecile, that antichrist, swore that he would protect and uphold the laws of the land, and he never did. And so if you're voting VP Harris to be president, she puts her grimy little paws on that Bible and swears to protect the American people, God willing. No. She lied to you and everybody else, and that's why she owes an apology. But the little bitch has no balls in her brains to say the word sorry. There you go. I said it. And I'll tell you, I am not retreating my words. I am not holding back what I have to say about the woman. I don't care if she was a cross-dresser. I don't care if she was LGBTQ, goddamn poo pape, whatever. When you say something and you call people stupid, especially the 18 to 24-year-olds, and then Taylor Swift comes and endorses you, you ought to think twice, 18 to 24-year-olds out there, of who this person really is. Do your homework for once. You might actually learn something that might shock the heck out of you. 29 before the half hour, we're going to be right back with our first look at our articles of the day. And it's a good one, too. And we'll be back with more of the nightly news right after this.
Hello, I'm here to tell you a little bit about pizza etiquette. Can you do this? Yes, it's acceptable. It's good cold in the morning for breakfast. I've done that. I think how many have done that? Can you take it and go from the other end, crust first? No, I'm sorry. You have to start at the point.
Doesn't mean that I won't try. So if you want to stay cool, don't try. and Dry Antiperspirant Wide Oval Solid. Stay cool, soft and dry.
Looks like Daddy's bringing home the barbecue. A big sack of McDonald's McRib sandwiches. Grilled pork and that sassy sauce. Tempting, huh? Like a barbecue in a bun without the bones. And with a big icy Coke, it's, well, you're only human, huh, Daddy? Chomp. The good time, great taste of McDonald's McRib for a limited time. Only at McDonald's.
He gets all the attention, but we know how it'll end. Streaks, spots, wipe, wipe, wipe. Stop ignoring me. Those engineers put me here because you need jet dry in your rinse cycle. Give me some jet dry. One little bottle a month. Let me fight that residue. Let me shine. Hallelujah.
Sweet nectar.
Look at that. Brilliant. So brilliant you could eat off it.
Jet Dry.
Mwah.
Your dishwasher was designed for it.
Why not jazz up dinner tonight? Zatarain's tastes so right. Everybody loves a bite. In New Orleans, we jazz it up with Zatarain's. Red beans and rice, jambalaya too. Yellow rice, any night will do. So much flavor, they'll be thanking you for Zatarain. Speed it up, heat it up. Sausage, chicken, shrimp it up. In New Orleans, we jazz it up with Zatarain.
That's me before Dawn Power Wash.
Soaking, scrubbing.
That's life. Was life. Now Power Wash gives me the power of an overnight soak in minutes. I'm sorry, minutes? With 3 cleaning boosters not found in traditional dish soaps that help break down, loosen, and lift away food and grease. So much faster.
Just spray suds on. No water needed till rinsing. Tougher mess? Let the suds sit a few minutes before wiping. Even cleans
The grill. Thank you.
It's more than soap. It's Power Wash.
First article up on the news tonight would be, if you see these fees on your phone bill, you're being overcharged. That's right. We've got a good story here from Jamie Stathis. This was back last month on the 22nd of August of this year. So let's take a look at it. It's time to check your cell phone statement. Unauthorized wireless company charges are common and have no business being on your bill. When was the last time you looked at your phone bill? If you're anything like us, you rely on auto pay and don't scan the bill each time it's due. But you may want to start reading the fine print. You could spot wireless company charges that are hitting your wallet hard. And while some of these fees may seem accidental, it's worth taking a closer to make sure you're not being overcharged. Cell phone bills are notoriously hard to read, and it can be easy to misunderstand the words and phrasing, which are intentionally vague. And as a result, you may be overcharged because you're paying for protections or services you don't want or need. We think of phone scams as coming from shady con artists, but your wireless company can scam you too. And to help you avoid paying more for your phone service, we asked consumer protection experts to break down wireless company charges. Keep reading to learn what these fees are and how the experts advise dealing with them so you can lower your bills. When looking over your statement, you may see wireless company charges that are unavoidable, like government-imposed taxes, but you may also see words that are familiar yet ambiguous in their meaning. There are 3 phases to watch out for on your mobile phone bill. Administrative fee, which is often vague and can be inflated without clear justification. The regulatory recovery fee. Yeah, this is a catch-all term that varies and may not reflect actual costs. And third-party charges. Yes, these can be unauthorized charges for services you didn't sign up for. As someone who has worked in the financial technology sector for a while, I know how these hidden fees on your phone bill fees can be insidious, says Kevin Shanazari, who's a consumer protection expert, data scientist, and founder of Finley Wealth. Shanazari believes in using technology to democratize financial services and give people the power to make informed financial decisions. And he knows that a lot of wireless companies' charges aren't transparent or fair, and they can result in unnecessary money loss. One of the most egregious examples I have come across is premium service charges, a catch-all for unauthorized third-party charges that cost up to $600 annually, he says. They often appear under innocuous labels like service fee or premium content, thereby disguising their true nature. And for this reason, I advise consumers to check their bills carefully for any unknown charges, no matter how small. At some point or another, we've all said yes to charges we later question. Sometimes you sign up for a service that sounds good until you realize you don't need it. And that can happen with protection plans and insurance. Other times you agree to services that double or triple over time because you don't understand the ambiguous language. Other reasons these charges may be on your bill: you signed up for an introductory offer that automatically shifted to full price once the trial period ended. And once you enrolled in a wireless service without realizing the sign-up form automatically checked yes for several add-ons. Once you have cramming to thank for overstuffed wireless bills, it's the official term for a scam in which a company adds unauthorized charges to a wireless bill, and the FCC estimates that tens of millions of Americans have experienced it. How do you know if you're dealing with cramming? You may see vague charges, think service charge or other fees, or an unexplained monthly fee. Or you might notice services on your bill that you didn't sign up for, or those you unwittingly signed for because they were included in the fine print or as part of a service bundle. Well, these fees aren't always illegal, even though they are usually unethical and contestable, Shanazari says. Cramming, however, is illegal under FCC regulations. No matter what, the fees on your wireless bill should be transparent and easy to understand. Most important, they should always be authorized by you. Charges you didn't approve may violate consumer protection laws. So if you notice unusual wireless company charges, try these steps. Recommended by Peter Adderton, the founder and CEO of Mobile X and Boost Mobile. Says, call your carrier. You have every right to ask for an explanation of the charges. File a complaint if you're unsatisfied with the company's explanation of your wireless charges, and you can file a complaint with the FCC for wireless service or long-distance calls, or file a complaint with your state's phone company regulatory agency for in-state services. You're already partially protecting yourself if you turn on all possible billing protections your carrier offers and regularly review statements for suspicious charges. So, to avoid hidden fees in the future, take these steps. Understand your contract terms. Yes, actually read them. Review your phone bill each month and stay informed about changes to your service agreement or monthly pricing. Make sure you know what the services and charges are for, and reach out to your provider about any questionable fees. Negotiate a refund if you have been charged without your consent. Shanazari says, it's smart to call your provider and demand an itemized explanation if you notice any charges you don't recognize. If the problem persists, do not hesitate to send an FCC complaint. Being proactive and vigilant is your best defense against predatory practices, he adds. Consumer complacency feeds the telecommunications industry. Don't let them exploit you. There you go. Thank you very much. Great article there. I think that's fantastic. Be proactive. Always check your phone bill statements every once in a while to see. And if you even have a provider that's local, go in and talk to them. If you can't reach them on the phone or don't want to wait on the long timelines for an available agent, I always recommend trying to go with your cable provider for your phone service. But even then, sometimes it can be a little bit tricky depending on where you are in the country and how good a signal you really have. Well, next up is one of the articles I think the trolls are not going to like anymore. I think this new show should be called Articles Trolls Can't Stand. And they are not going to like this one bit. Next up, when we come back after the commercials, will be 8 signs you're a conversational narcissist. Do you fit one of these 8 signs? Well, I don't think there'll be a quiz at the end of the article, but you might want to take some notes. And if you happen to be, here are hopefully they'll give you some ways to get around these things. One thing I can say for sure, if you are still taking on that kind of behavior, well, could you change? Could you accept change? Well, just depends on how you view things. And unfortunately, how big of a friends list you really have. We'll be back with more of the nightly news right after this.
Cars aren't cheap, never have been. That's why I never take shortcuts with cheap oil and air filters. Give me AC filters every time. AC filters match the original specs on my cars like a nut on a bolt.
Precision AC Delco parts. They don't just fit, they match.
Keep your car running the way it was made to run.
Now get up to $780 back on AC filters and plugs. See your retailer for details.
Just because a glass and surface cleaner is blue like Windex doesn't mean it cleans glass as well as Windex, because only Windex is specially formulated with ammonia D. It leaves a beautiful streak-free shine. Just about anyone can appreciate. Windex, the best on glass, from S.C. Johnson Wax.
Caramello. Caramello. Oh, it's such a sweet imagination. From your finger to your mouth. Chocolate and golden caramel. Caramello.
Alex Klein is a real Geico customer, not a paid celebrity. So to help tell his story, we hired that guy who does those funny sound effects.
My car was totaled over 1,000 miles from home. So I called Geico. And in less than 10 business hours, I got a check for a new car.
Geico. Real service, real savings.
Hi, Grandpa.
Hey there, Ryan.
Grandpa, you can't imagine how many different butter candies I just saw in the store.
Yes, I can imagine that.
But you can't imagine how many of them had golden wrappers.
Well, I can imagine that too.
But Grandpa, can you imagine that there are people who actually buy that other stuff?
No, I cannot imagine that.
Alf destroyed my 23-year marriage, says Heartbroken Star. Enquire within.
We've got what you want, the way that you want it.
Lisa Bonet kicks hubby out of house just 3 weeks after the birth of their new baby. He's gone for 5 days.
Enquire within.
Mary Tyler Moore's battle against skin cancer. Mr. Spock snubs Star Trek pals at his wedding. Get all this and more in this week's National Enquirer.
'Cause we've got what you want, the way that you want it. Enquire within.
Well, I wanted to point out that this old camouflage shirt that I'm wearing today is actually a shirt that I bought many, many years ago. I would think almost, I want to say about 15 years ago, when I was still actually fitting into this. And I actually fit into this shirt very well. You just can't see it. But so I saved this shirt for occasions of when I actually do fit into it. And today I do fit into it. So if the trolls say I keep gaining weight, well, how can you say I'm gaining weight when I can stretch this shirt out and have no problems? Huh? Misinformed once again. Get your facts straight before you go ahead and judge. All right, let's go ahead now to this topic that I think really does show what a true narcissist is really about. Marissa Laberte is going to tell us about the 8 signs that you're a conversational narcissist. Oh, get more balance in those me conversations. Yes. So what is it? Well, showing conversational narcissism doesn't mean you have a personality disorder. To learn more about that, watch out for these 12 signs you're dealing with a narcissist. The term was coined by sociologist Charles Derber and describes the tendency to turn a conversation back to yourself. A balanced dialogue should involve both sides, but conversational narcissists tend to keep the focus on themselves, so you're getting attention but not giving any away, says licensed marriage and family therapist Kate Campbell, PhD, owner and director of Bayview Therapeutic Services. It invalidates the other person and what they're trying to share, she says. The problem is talking about ourselves is natural, so it's hard to notice when you're overdoing it. Do you know what I mean? Well, asking questions gives the other person a chance to elaborate more. So conversational narcissists won't ask them, says Celeste Headley, radio host and author of We Need to Talk, How to Have a Conversations That Matter. If they do ask questions, they're questions that lead back to themselves, she says. Things like, do you know what I mean? Did I tell you about this? Did we see this movie? To be a better listener, ask follow-up questions to show interest in what the other person is saying. Don't miss these other 9 things good listeners always do. Interesting. Well, Even when listening to another person, the conversational narcissist will respond mostly with fillers like or interesting instead of showing any true curiosity, says Headley. It's passive conversational narcissism, which is withholding attention until the attention goes back to ourselves, she says. Make sure you're fully engaged in conversation, even if you can't possibly relate. Your relationship will be stronger for it. Check out these other 17 signs you're the toxic one in a relationship. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. The amount of time you've been talking is a major red flag that you're showing conversational narcissism. Becomes more of a monologue versus a dialogue, says Dr. Campbell. You need to have a back and forth flow. Make a point of being more self-aware of how long you've been talking. If no one else can get a word in edgewise, it's time for you to step aside for the next speaker. Did you hear what I said? Well, because you care so much about what you're talking about, sometimes it can be hard to realize that you've been dominating the conversation. The trick then is to notice subtle cues in the person you're with. Their body language might look uncomfortable, or they could be crossing their arms or not paying attention, says Dr. Campbell. Some might even be scrolling through their phones to avoid engaging, and at that point, try to bring one of them into the conversation by mentioning something he or she would want a say in. Here's how to tell if your Facebook habits are feeding narcissism. Enough about me. Yeah, well, you wait until you're done to ask questions. You've noticed you've been doing most of the talking in the conversation. Great. That's the first step to shutting down your own conversational narcissism. But it won't mean much if you only say, enough about me, at the end of your chat when everyone else is getting ready to leave. You aren't giving the other person much chance to talk. It's a nod to politeness, when really it's just surface and not an honest invitation, says Headley. Give the others a chance to get a word in early on so you can have a balanced two-way conversation. Here are 13 more signs you're a bad listener. I know how you feel. Well, one phrase Headley says you shouldn't let out of your mouth when someone is dealing with a tragedy: I know how you feel. You might think you're showing support, but that phrase is actually turning the conversation away from the other person's pain and over to your own. It shuts down that conversation, says Headley. You're saying, you don't need to tell me anymore. I know how you feel. What that person really needs is a listening ear, she says. So encourage your friends to tell you more. No need to pretend you can't relate, but after you share a story, bring the focus back to the other person. Try something like, I lost a parent last year too, and I can't imagine what you're going through. Is there any way I can help? And here are 10 more signs you have incredible empathy. And the ... Yeah, you're constantly thinking of your next line. Well, in contrast to a conversational narcissist, a good listener would be listening to understand versus listening to respond or share a story, says Dr. Campbell. Instead of racking your brain for a similar story you can add to the conversation, put the focus on the speaker. Once there's a pause, show you generally want to understand by confirming what you've heard and allowing the person to elaborate or ask for extra details. Check out these other ways couples can be better listeners. What am I supposed to say? Well, some people try to ask questions to divert focus away from themselves when they're feeling shy, says Headley. On the other hand, others might default to conversational narcissism, says Dr. Campbell, especially if they're nervous or uncomfortable socially, and they go back to what they know. And that's their own personal experiences, she says. Try these science-backed tips for boosting self-confidence to get over your nerves. And there you have it. Marissa Laliberti, she's Smith Simeone. Yeah, she's a London-based associate editor with the global promotions team at WebMDsMedscape.com and was previously a staff writer for Reader's Digest. Her work has also appeared in Business Insider, Parents Magazine, Creaky Joints, and the Baltimore Sun. You can find her on Instagram at Marissa Simeone. There you go. Thank you, Marissa, for a great article on that kind of a touchy subject. I probably have fallen into that myself as a kid growing up, where I was trying to become the center of attention to catch up on everything. But I think over time, I've learned to kind of control my situations as far as that's concerned. Others would say I talk too much, but it's my show. I'm trying to get to talk to you, but unfortunately, you guys can't talk back because you're watching this show. But like I said before, that's why, these things happen this way. And I'm hoping that those who do have real issues as far as it's concerned, concerning something that is in a group or on Facebook or something else, and they're not quite sure, ask away. No question is too stupid, as they say. There's always an answer to even a rhetorical question, even though it might be answered with a question of its own. All right. And our third article coming up after the break. What is doxing and how does it set you up to be hacked? Ooh, some tough information. Might want to grab a pencil and paper on this one because there's some tricky notes to take down. We'll be back right after this.
Meet Max Backtalk. Enter any sound you want. Then match it to your flashing light. Take it to the max. Very good. Again.
Billy, sexy.
Nerd!
Sexy.
Nerd!
Billy, sexy.
Take it to the max. New Max Backtalk from Milton Bradley.
You can help your hamburger. You can make it a delight.
Just smile and say cheeseburger macaroni tonight. Say cheese.
Hamburger helper.
Say cheese.
Help your hamburger. Hamburger helper. Help your hamburger helper. Make a great meal.
Hamburger Helper Cheeseburger Macaroni turns your plain hamburger into a savory, tangy cheddar cheese and macaroni supper your family will smile about.
Hamburger helper. Help your hamburger helper.
Say cheese.
Make a great meal.
On Amtrak's Metroliner service, you can spread out over breakfast. The air shuttle encourages closer working relationships. On Metroliner service, you can have a private conversation. The plane, however, offers conference calls. On Amtrak's Metroliner service, you can travel first class. On the air shuttle, everyone gets treated equally.
All aboard, Amtrak, all aboard.
Thingamabob, gobbledygook, what's its face? Whatchamacallit, whatever it is, whatever it was. Chocolatey chocolate, whatchamacallit, how's it go? Wowzam-doo, sugary caramel, whatchamacallit, doohickeys, you know what I mean, peanutty crispies. Chewy, chocolatey, crunchy, doodad, let's get 'em a ring, more than a mouthful. It's whatchamacallit, whatchamacallit.
The thick, rich taste you love. But sometimes, some days, you're in the mood for something a little bit tangy, a little bit kicky, a little bit spicy. Yeah, Heinz 57 sauce. It's like ketchup with a kick.
I never knew your cat was so cuddly. Right? She really loves these delectable squeeze-up treats. What? Delectables. The lickable treat. Delickables? Delectables. Delickable delectables. Funny. No, just delectables. Deliciously delectable delectables. You're hilarious. You see what I did there? Wow, she's going to town on this.
Delectables, squeeze up. Deliciously delectable delectables.
Okay, it's another chance to take some notes down on some important article here that we're going to be touching in just right now, actually, where what is doxing and how does it set you up to be hacked? Well, I know some people who have done some doxing on me and have really paid the price because I've exposed them back for it. But Brooke Nelson Alexander is going to tell you about this. This was all the way back from 2 years ago on June 16th from the Reader's Digest. Here we go. Here's how to avoid becoming the next target of a doxing attack and how to keep your personal information safe if it happens to you. The doxing, a digital attack that involves publishing personal information about someone on the web used to target high-profile figures like celebrities and politicians, or just about anybody who you think you hate the guts. But now, with sensitive data more widely shared and available online, the risk to ordinary Americans has soared, and 1 in 5 Americans reports having been the target of doxing, also spelled with 1 X instead of 2, according to a new study by safehome.org. Doxing has impacted over 40 million Americans at some point in their life, and the consequences can range from harmless insults to repercussions at work, with your family, in your community, and elsewhere, depending on the degree of information revealed, says Ryan McGonigal, who's a director of industry research at safehome.org. So what is it? Well, exactly, and how can you avoid becoming a target? We asked cybersecurity experts to explain how doxing works, why it increases your risk of getting hacked further, and how to protect yourself. Whether you want to learn the signs of your computer has been hacked, disappear completely from the internet, create good passwords, or find out what someone can do just with your phone number, these online security tips can help you stay safe. So, when someone is doxxed, their personal information is released online by bad actors hoping to embarrass or threaten them, namely the trolls. Yep, they do a lot of doxing. Experts call this type of attack a dox, which refers to documents. That's because the published information is usually found in private documents such as emails, tax records, phone numbers, home addresses, or social security numbers. And no matter what form of information is shared, doxing can cause serious harm. Doxing is usually done to get revenge, says Jason Glassberg, co-founder of Kasaba Security. Someone is angry at you, namely the trolls. They're always angry at me. And they decide to get even by exposing your personal information on the World Wide Web in order to embarrass you or scare you. They tried, but I went back and doxed them too. So tit for tat, as they say. Revealing someone's home address, email, or phone number can lead to a harassment and abuse, while sharing someone's social security number can expose them to hacking and identity theft, according to Chris Pearson, PhD, CEO of the cybersecurity company Black Cloak. Now, a doxing attack is typically sparked by a conflict between individuals online, namely the trolls versus myself, and that whole drama that went between 2013 and 2021, 8 years worth-wise. In fact, according to the safehome.org study, more than half of all attacks were linked to disputes with strangers on social media. Let's say you post something on social media or an online forum using an anonymous account. The trolls, for instance, use fake accounts. McGonagall says if someone takes offense or just disagrees with you, they might sleuth around and find personally identifiable information and publish it online, making you the target of subsequent harassment. Do you really think they care? No, because they have no conscious brains. That's why. A doxer's methods can range from searching on Google or data broker sites to requesting public records, hacking your email account, or buying your information from criminals on the dark web. An attacker could also send you a phishing or spam email with a link containing spyware. Clicking on the link allows doxers to access and scour your computer for sensitive data that they can release online. Make sure you know how to block emails, especially spam that could put your information at risk. Recent real-life doxing attacks have had disturbing and even deadly consequences. In 2017, social media users mistakenly identified a participant at a neo-Nazi rally as Kyle Quinn, a professor at the University of Arkansas. And though Quinn had nothing to do with the rally, his image and address quickly spread across the internet. Soon, he was receiving thousands of hate messages and threats to sabotage his career. He and his wife ended up hiding out at a friend's house until the online attacks died down. In another recent example, friends playing an online video game decided to settle a conflict by placing a prank call to 911 and sending the police to one of the friends' houses. But the prank caller shared an incorrect home address with the police, leading to the real occupant of the home getting shot and killed by law enforcement. And although finding someone's personal information by searching through public records is not illegal, if you use that information to threaten, bully, harass, or intimidate them, then it may be considered a crime. And to this day, these trolls, as dumb as they are, still don't get it through their thick skulls that this particular situation does happen. They did it to me. They did it to several other people who I will not name, but you know who you are, who fell victim to their stupid, idiotic doxing of information. And sure enough, well, you know, that's why the statute of limitations does run out on these things. Buying stolen data on the dark web and hacking into a person's email and other personal accounts are also illegal, he says. Pearson notes that several states have created laws that criminalize doxing attacks that intentionally harass or torment people or make them fear for their safety, giving people some legal protection if they get doxed. To avoid falling victim to other cybercrimes, you should also know the red flags that someone stole your identity and signs of Apple AirTag stalking. First and foremost, victims of doxing should never face their attackers alone. It's very important that doxing victims do not try to confront the bad actor directly, as this can lead to other aggravations and heightened attention, Pearson says. He recommends keeping a record of the information released online and any communication with the offender. From there, victims should contact law enforcement to file a formal complaint against the person and ask the sites that are hosting the information to take it down. Pearson also advises enabling two-factor authentication and changing the passwords on your Wi-Fi modem, router, or any other online accounts, such as email, social media, and the cloud. It is now easier than ever for someone to access private or semi-private information about you, he says, but people need to be vigilant about their personal information and do all they can to protect it. As you reset your passwords, don't use any from this passwords list that hackers will guess first. And while it's possible to do damage control after the fact, it's preferable, of course, not to get doxxed in the first place. Here are some tips that will decrease the likelihood that bad actors will get their hands on your personal information. The best way to avoid becoming a doxing victim is to limit the amount of personal information you share online. Just adding a city to your Twitter profile makes it easy for someone to locate your home address without even subscribing to a data broker service, Glassberg explains. And he suggests setting your social media accounts to private, using strong and unique passwords, and enabling two-factor authentication when you can. Security apps can further protect your device in the event one of your accounts becomes compromised. And while it's tough to disappear completely from the internet, you can delete yourself from Google searches to protect your privacy. In other words, Google is tracking you, but you can make it harder for the search giant to collect your data. If you want to take extra precautions, you can use a third-party service to remove your public information from data broker sites. And also sign up for a fake phone number through Google Voice that sends calls to your real number, Pearson says. Yeah. So here are some of the sources you can use that we've talked about. Great article. Brooke Nelson Alexander, two-time Emmy-nominated tech and consumer products reporter with nearly 10 years of experience covering the latest in digital trends, product reviews, cybersecurity, and privacy, along with other news and features. Her work has been published by U.S. News and World Report and recognized by the Columbia Scholastic Press Association. Thank you, Brooke Nelson Alexander, for that great article. 2 minutes after the hour, and when we come back, we'll look at our final things of the day today, like what holiday is today, and, of course, the motivation of the day. All of that coming up on the rest of Nightly News, Episode 6, right after this.
If I'm feeling mellow, I just want cheese and tomatoes. If I'm feeling attractive, I say put on some pepperoni, you know? If I'm feeling wild and crazy, I just tell the guy behind the counter, throw it all on. My.
Hi, you know what's so great about Friendly's? First of all, I get to eat free. Second of all, they have lots of good stuff to choose from, like crispy chicken, juicy cheeseburgers, or great hot dogs. And guess what? You even get a free ice cream treat. You don't get that anyplace else. Okay, so what's the catch? Well, you have to bring a grown-up along, but that's okay.
Kids eat free at Friendly's every day after 4.
Say, that's a well-balanced breakfast. Want to make it taste extra delicious?
Yeah!
Well, everything tastes yummy with Golden Blossom honey. Everything tastes yummy with Golden Blossom honey.
Yeah!
Cereal, toast, and pancakes, honey makes them yummy. Muffins, waffles, pastry too. Breakfast goes with honey. Everything tastes yummy with Golden Blossom honey.
Gee, you really know your honey.
Love that Golden Blossom.
You've driven these streets 1,000 times. But tonight, there's something different. Tonight, you're using Exxon 93 Supreme gasoline for a cleaner engine, smooth acceleration, and a full 93 octane.
Let the tiger set you free.
Rely on Exxon Supreme.
Rely on the tiger.
It's hot out
outside. As the temperature goes up, Newmark and Lewis will cool you down. It's the Newmark and Lewis air conditioner sale going on now. We've got air conditioners of all sizes for small rooms and large rooms. Air conditioners in stock so you can cool off tonight. The Newmark and Lewis air conditioner sale means you don't have to sweat it out. Keep cool and comfortable with a new air conditioner. At Newmark and Lewis, we want you to be comfortable with our price, comfortable with our service, comfortable with our selection. Newmark and Lewis air conditioner sale. Hurry in.
Is this the reaction you get when you serve your kids vegetables? So how do you get them to eat their vegetables? Just add Cheese Whiz. Cheese Whiz. It's got the unique cheesy taste kids love, no matter what it's on. Cheese Whiz tastes great on anything and everything. Cheese Whiz. It makes food taste better to kids.
And now there's a new way for kids to enjoy the great taste of Cheese Whiz. New Cheese Whiz squeezable cheese sauce.
All right, welcome back to the nightly news here. It's going to be probably an earlier night than normal to end our program. I couldn't find anything on the holidays, as unfortunately. But I would like to share with you something else that was important. But first, we're going to do the Daily Motivator, and then we'll share some interesting things to show you here. Okay? So, Ralph Marston, of course, has winning and losing for today's Daily Motivator for Tuesday, September 17th. 2024. Your wins and losses are important, yet the integrity with which you act matters even more. Keep that in mind when seeking the victories and recovering from defeat. It is great to triumph, to achieve, and to excel. And sure, it's painful to lose. And yet, if you abandon your treasured values in order to win, the prize is empty. When you compromise your integrity for the sake of accomplishing something, you gain nothing of value. The enduring benefits of achievement do not reside in the achievement itself. The real value of success is in the way you live your life while you make it happen. Focus on winning, to be sure, yet be careful not to destroy your integrity just so you can claim the mere tokens of victory. Each achievement you pursue is an opportunity to bring out the best within you. Act always with integrity, and whether you win or lose in the moment, you'll set yourself up for long-term success. Well spoken, and what a way to end the program, too, for that matter. Thank you, Ralph Marston, for the Daily Motivator. Of course, shared here each and every day on the Nightly News. Now, let's go to the other thing I would want to talk to you about, which is, this is something that I started working on. Let me share screen it here. I'd have to go to the window. Yep. Okay. Let's do that. Okay. This is a document that I'm working on that has all of the programs that are on Jay's All TV and Sports channel. Now, the reason why it's All TV and Sports is if anybody would like to do play-by-play and put it on my channel, be great. If you want to, team up and we can do play-by-plays, then we have that opening for specific spots, especially on Friday nights. Could be baseball, could be basketball, hockey. I know a lot of people do football, so I'm not worried about the football, but any of the other sports that fall on a Friday night, we have a spot open where you can do play-by-play, and, you can test out your play-by-play skills and see how well you'll do. Now, yesterday I got an interesting message. Well, what I did was I went in with the help of a great friend who I'm still talking to, David St. Dennis, and he helped me out with this. I went in and changed the settings on the comments. Only people because this is a live commentary show. No one can really comment on anything, and unfortunately, I hope that will not decline the views and scare off the trolls. But one of the trolls said yesterday that only 4 people were watching at any one given time on this program. Well, let's take a look at what we have here. Not including this episode, because once we end it, then the updates of these will change. I'll look at the running totals and add to the totals. But right now, the Nightly News, with the 5 episodes that we have so far, 144 total views. Okay. To tell me that nobody is watching this program maybe not on the live feed right now, but maybe in archive footage or later on when they get it, because you got to factor in time zones and all the other stuff. And some of the trolls that live in Michigan, you're 2 hours behind. So don't be giving me this imbecile stuff. Well, only 4 people are watching total. Okay, here's the facts. Here's the total truth about it from the YouTube channel. From it, I got it this afternoon. 144 views and growing. Okay. Now, Wipe Those Tears has only had 1 episode, and that was the premiere of the 2nd season. 43 views. I haven't added the 1st season up because I haven't put up the rest of the 1st season, and I will so that way you can watch, of course, the back episodes to follow along with us. But so far, with Andrew Hocking on the team, 43 views, and thank you, because that's going to make everybody on the Tier Master team happy to know that first show of the new season was a good one. And thank you for allowing us to come back for a 2nd season to continue on where we left off. And we hope that you will continue to support us every which way by tuning in each and every week. Now, the new show Versus has 2 episodes. That was Tuesday and Thursday of last week. Just in those 2 episodes alone, 15 on the 1st and 11 on the 2nd, for a total of 26 views. This is a brand new show, folks, and it's going to take time to get those views in every which way, shape, or form. So I'm not worried too much about this particular show yet. If I see that the views are just not growing and they're dwindling and they're not getting a double view of it, then I can take into consideration. But I'll keep tracking everything and make a decision at the end of the season. And the Saturdays with McVay, well, just in the 2 episodes that we've had in the new season already for season 2, a total of 64 views have graced us with their presence. And that's because also the trolls were coming in as well, too. So, yeah, you trolls think you might got the best of me, but in the end, you still suffered at the hands of the views, because even though you were trying to up my views artificially, YouTube saw behind your dirty, filthy little fingers and cut you off when you had a chance. So, like I say, the trolls can hate my guts all they want. I'm going to stop sharing. The trolls can hate my guts all they want, but the bottom line of it is I will do everything I can to protect my channel. And there's a lot of people out there that will protect their channel as well, because it's the lifeblood of the situation. It's original content. And, we've had success with this show for 154 episodes when I was with Dave at 3000 Network. We had 154 episodes. And even though the views were double digits, we still had a very good audience that watched us day in and day out, 5 days a week, and now down to 4 days because of, taking the time off. But this channel is also going to have, like I said, Versus, the Jay's Retro Toys and Games, which I'm catching up with, and I'm putting those 62 episodes up on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Tuesday's episode's already up. And as far as the Queens New Yorker is concerned, well, that's on Spotify. The Queens New Yorker is on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and possibly Saturdays. I'm debating on whether doing the Saturday show, because I know Saturdays with McVay and Jay take up most of my time at 9 o'clock, even for that 1 hour. So I'm not sure if I want to do it 3 days a week, but I've done it 2 days so far. We were doing the tribute to Long Island, and it's a long, tedious parts of that particular borough of Long Island and that whole layout, demographics, and a lot of information that is being pretty much presented to you. And I want to just keep it to a half an hour to kind of give you a chance to digest it all. In the meantime, like I said, the whole afternoon and the whole morning of the schedule for the fall is totally open. And I would like to see if anybody has a show that they'd like to put on the network to come and, talk to me about it. I gave some great suggestions to some people. And I like to work with some people on our channel here, like I do with Scott McVay, and host a show that I think we can take into the afternoons if they're not busy with work, or in the mornings, and just do a pre-recorded show and then put it up there at a specific time, something of that sort. So if you have any ideas for a show that you would like to do and have me co-host with you, or if you'd like to tag along in some ways, we will definitely make that happen. One of the things I can tell you is that on November 5th, on election night, the 7 o'clock nightly news then becomes election 2024. That's right. We're going to have the big map here. And as the Fox News is calling the shots, we'll get our information from Fox News only. Whoever wins those states, we will follow along with you. Okay? And hopefully you'll tune in to our version of the 2024 election. And that way you'll be able to get some of the thoughts and concerns as we are filling in the red or blue states that voted for each candidate, for that matter. As you know, 270 votes wins the presidency. We're hoping for a fair and honest election. No favoritism whatsoever, and that's from either side. And whoever wins should accept the nomination, and whoever loses should just go about their business. Okay? Because at this point, the American people will decide who will be the next president of the United States. And that's on November 5th. So mark your calendars, 7 o'clock special show. We could go on for 5 hours. I know, because the polls in the West, they close at 10 o'clock because it's a 3-hour difference. I know that for a fact. So we might go on till 12 midnight, and then I might just cut off there. And if they still have to count specific states in those areas, then so be it. But of course, you'll get the results and a whole show dedicated to the after situations of the election. And what I saw and what I will express in my opinions, of course, I know who I'm voting for. You could tell who I was voting for pretty much even when I was with the MS 3000 News. You knew who I was voting for at that time. So I don't hide anything or keep my votes to myself. I know exactly what I'm voting on. And it's very important that not just for voting for president, but whatever amendments are in your state, anybody running for Senate or for Congress in your state, local or vice versa, make sure you read the amendments very carefully, because there's a lot of hidden stuff in there or stuff that might not be covered. And you want to make sure that before you say yes or no to those amendments, we'll go over the amendments, because of course they're going to vary by state of what's going on in your area. So do check that's why we all get sample ballots, folks. You get the chance to look at the ballot, sample it, and decide how you're going to go in, so that way when you go to actually physically vote, you're not sitting there or standing there for 20 years trying to figure out how to do this. You have an idea, you go in, you do it. And I'm not saying that, but to get it over, to get it done with, know who you're going to go in there and stick with your guns. This is a very important election, and everybody needs to understand that the future of our country is on the table. With that said, remember, of course, be honest, be real, keep it simple, stupid, kiss. We'll see you tomorrow for the nightly news, and of course, wipe those tears, all on the StreamYard channel. Till then, I'm Jason DeCanio saying good night and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.